Not yet, not yet. And we are live. Yes, in our 42nd episode of umbraCoffee. Time
Damn, we're
flies.
quickly approaching the end of the year, like a whole year, right? 10 more episodes, we've hit a year.
Ooh,
Crazy.
that's crazy. Yeah, that's crazy. And we have an amazing guest with us today, straight from Netherlands. Hi, Arnold. How are you?
Hi. Oh, well, I'm doing fine. Thank you.
All good. All good. We've named this episode as a festival season begins, and we've just chatted before going live that the summer is over. I'm wearing a hoodie.
I'm still wearing a t-shirt. It's fine. The weather is great.
For the first time probably in my office lately. But yeah, it's pretty cold out there, and we are all preparing for the festival. So Arnold, how it's going in Netherlands?
Well, quite good actually. This year, of course, bigger and better than before. And I think we have a great venue this year. It's an old factory. It's even called like that. The factory, although done in Dutch. And it's a more umbraco-like venue because the last few years we went to Amsterdam and it was just a hotel with some rooms. So this year we really have a nice location, and that really helps with the umbraco atmosphere, we hope.
We tend to organize all the festivals in breweries. I think that it fetches the umbraco atmosphere as well. But yeah, our Polish festival is next week, next Friday. So it officially. I didn't even know that it starts the festival's calendar this year. But yeah, we still have tickets to sell, so feel free to buy them. Netherlands festivals is also selling tickets, and UK festivals started also the pre-sale of tickets.
Last week, tickets went up, and we've sold all of our early birds, so you're gonna have to get in quick. They're selling out fast. Tickets are on sale, and yesterday we released an identity, or a bit of an identity, which is like a throwback to all of the previous festivals. So all the characters that you've seen appear in all our logos and stuff are on the background, and then we've got our new logo. So
I will try to find it somewhere in my thumbnails. But just to start a discussion about the designs, I found this tweet lately, and maybe let's ask a question for our viewers. Do anyone from you works with the UX designer and UX and UI designers? Because sometimes we've found situations like that, and we just thinking that someone just missed one step during preparation for the project. And I will find this identity, and we will show it in a second.
I will make sure we can find it.
Yep. So yeah, we are all preparing for the festivals. But what happened during the past week? We had a Programmers Day yesterday. Guys, how did you celebrate? Coding?
Wait, what did we have?
Maybe for
Programmers Day. I only realized halfway through the day, and I didn't actually get to code that much yesterday. I was dealing with a horrible merge conflict on the.
pretty nice gift from other team members. Right? And any other gifts for programmers?
No. What about you?
No. I think that my wife forgot about it. I haven't forgot about Women's Day. Never. And Programmers Day. Okay, but going from here, let's move to the serious things. And I remember our talk at Code Garden when we moved to serious things. I crossed my hands like that. And yeah, this is really serious. umbraco released an information about a security patch, which is coming next week. And there is a blog about it, and it's highly advised for everyone to pencil time to perform the update. And who is affected, as we can see here? I would
everything.
say everyone.
Absolutely everything.
So if anyone is using version 5, maybe it doesn't affect this version, but all the rest are affected, most of them. And we still wait for more information. We are preparing for performing updates. And yeah, guys, did you know about it at all?
Well, it has been some time since the latest security issue.
Yep.
We're due one, right?
No, but I think that this is, well, it has been months or something, and like they said in the blog post, they do audits, and even the default audit team of umbraco didn't find it. So I'm very interested in what this is and how compromisable sites are. So of course, patch, but let's see what happens.
Yeah, and also what's caught my eye, it was tweet from Niels today, how umbraCo sees the I don't know, the approach for even talking about those issues and how the team is handling them, and I think that's we mentioned it a couple times already during umbraCoffee, that umbraCo is becoming more mature, and the project is I don't know, more. It's hard to say more serious because it was always serious, but the mature is probably the correct word. And the communication, the transparency, and the information passed to community and not only to all the rest of society around umbraCo is really great. And I believe that you agree with me.
Yeah, I saw some really nice discussions on a separate thread that Niels posted this morning, just about they're going to disclose and give credit to the people who raised this issue, and that will come a bit after people have had a chance to patch stuff. But just the way that they've handled this is top class.
Yep. And it moves us to the other interesting discussion which we had on Twitter and on other channels this week. It was about migrating content and doing some continuous integration and deployment of content and other things together with migrations of stuff. And maybe Arnold, to engage you more, how you are dealing with migrating content and strategy for deploying umbraCo between various environments.
Well, I think most of our sites are now umbraCo cloud based, so that really helps with migration of content between environments.
Yep.
And for the rest, well, in the past we used CMS import to do some stuff. It's always a bit hard. It was always a bit hard. I think with cloud it's good. It's very doable. But yeah.
Okay, so let me share my screen. It's probably how most of the companies are doing it lately. But it was Peter Duncanson who started discussion about migrations, and it went to the direction of the package development. But I've just jumped into the topic and tried to adapt it to some kind of even content delivery and things delivery. And Kevin, of course, released a lot of interesting code samples within his packages, and we all probably know using. And if someone don't know using, probably should know it. And together, right now we have a couple opportunities. It's using or umbraCo deploy, which was in beta or still is in beta tests. And I went one day to the Kevin Jumps repository for the new starter kit, and it had a really nice code to just fire up migrations for some other code bits. And Kevin, after my suggestion, released another package, which is our umbraCo migration helper. And then we've started a discussion about maybe thinking about something inside of the core. And if you have any thoughts, anyone who is watching, feel free to share those thoughts, because everyone is watching those threads, and we are discussing, and maybe it's a good opportunity to start an hour thread and just combine some ideas, or maybe even an issue on issue tracker to just discuss how we can handle it, how umbraCo can help us.
Yeah, we were actually discussing this internally this week, a ton of different ways, and even discussing do we need content migration always? There's certain times where it's a pain to have to recreate stuff, or maybe a content editor works on one environment, we want to push them up, but do we actually need that to be baked into our workflow? I don't know if everyone needs it. It's probably why umbraCo doesn't have it out of the box. But there's definitely a thread there's definitely a need for some kind of thread or place where we can discuss different approaches, different options. You mentioned using content, but we've got umbraCo deploy as part of cloud, or even in the future as a standalone service too. Different options. I'm sure everyone's got their different experiences, pluses, minuses, etc.
Yeah, but I also think that once it's easier to do in various options, because not everybody might like deploy or want to use deploy. If there are more options and it's easier to do, then you can easily apply it to customers, and then there will be more need for it, because then you just sell it to your customers that there is an option for it. Now you try to avoid it in certain situations, I guess, because it's not that straightforward.
Yep. And for many cases, not only umbraco related, sometimes the simple answer is to hire more people or students to do migrations, which was another topic which I discussed today with my colleague. But yeah, we need a perfect combination of umbraco deploy and umbraco courier probably to help all of us to deal with those problems, because everyone has the same problems, I think. Okay, so I may be using this opportunity. Let's move to another topic and community contribution, because we've seen. I don't know if you've seen information about Lars Erik's work.
I've seen this
Around the containers abstractions, and let me just find it. So, Callum, can you briefly introduce this to the idea, because I know that you were.
I've been closely following the work that Lars has been doing on dependency injection as a whole inside umbraco in V8. He's been working for quite a while, and there was a thread a few months back where he was talking about how maybe the way that HQ had approached dependency injection was not quite how he would have done it, and gave some suggestions for ways we could improve. And so what he's done is he's got a demo working of Castle Windsor dependency injection tool being used to power the back office. And his screenshot here shows that he's kind of wrapped all of the IOC container stuff, so it's pluggable, and you can now swap it out for what you want. In this case, Castle Windsor, but light inject or any of the other tools as well. It's now completely possible with this clean wrapper.
Yep, that's very helpful, and I've seen some our colleagues work this week, and they were plugging in some external dependencies to our internal wrapper. And if it will be all abstracted, and we'll be able to just implement our own container within any umbraco solution, that's exactly what we are looking for. And I know that Shannon did this, right?
Yes.
This abstractions also as a package, but it was done for specific containers, and it was.
Yeah, absolutely. One of the things that Lars also discussed here was the ability to have multiple containers. So maybe you have a package that wants to have its own IOC container and use a different one. So that can be Castle Windsor, or and then the core could use light inject. That now is completely possible. You can have two different containers running, which is really, really nice. Let's developers choose the tool that they really like and want to work with.
Yeah. And Callum, you've seen some probably more interesting informations revealed yesterday during the meetup, right? You've been attending.
Yeah, of course.
What happened in London, or London it stays in London?
Oh no, yeah, I can't tell you. I'd have to kill you. No, the London meetup was great. We had a really good demo from Warren on some awesome stuff that did appear on Twitter early in the week. We also had a great talk by Jevon on responsive images and his Slimsy package. The stuff Warren demoed, Neil's tweeted about, and it's Warren for a while has been saying, "Oh, I don't like Log4net. I want to replace it with something."
I will share screen meanwhile, so you can see.
Yeah, awesome. So Warren doesn't like Log4net. It's clunky. It's just chucking stuff in a text file. It's a bit painful. Where he's found an alternative is a library called Serilog, which does all kinds of stuff, very similar to Log4net in its basic principle. But now Warren has created a really, really beautiful dashboard. So it's a pull request. It's in an active pull request right now for V8. So in the core, you'll be able to click on the tree, on an item in the tree, and it will open up this log section for you. You can then query, save searches, filter them down. And the best thing is kind of talking about this in terms of appenders, like you'd have in Log4net, where you can say an appender pipes stuff to a text file in this format. This will let you configure that and do what you want. So there is different appenders. There is Elasticsearch appenders. There is an Elma IO appender. So if you want, all of your umbraco logs just get piped straight into an external service, and then you can search them all in the back office. Yeah, I think I'm really excited by this.
Yeah, and someone said on Twitter that login is not sexy. It is sexy, and it's even more hot right now. And I really look this new look and possibilities coming from this.
One of the other big changes that was actually introduced here, which I love, is and it's not in the screenshot, is every single request now in umbraco is going to have a request ID. So if you look through the logs, you'll be able to see a specific transaction that a user did. These are all of the errors that they encountered. Whereas currently it's just a set of like events in chronological order. And if you've got multiple threads and multiple whatever users, then you'll have maybe an odd order to that. But now you can just filter with the tool and say, find me all the errors for this request ID. Boom. And there's a picture from last night.
Yep, I've seen it on Warren's Instagram yesterday. Yeah, it looks like more than 20 people, right?
There's a lot of people there, yeah.
Pretty big meetup. I'm really missing meetups, so that's why I'm happy that festivals are coming. Yeah, so that was all about the presentations yesterday. What we had this week we also revealed the information about the pull request for version specific documentation, which we've seen on Damian's Twitter. I found it there. So we will have a version specific docs. Pull request is already submitted, so it's just waiting to be merged. And we had a Unicorner episode, of course. And did you guys watch it?
Half. I watched half.
Half.
Yeah.
You are not the fan of Suits?
Well, no, I ran out of time. I had to do some other stuff, so that's.
Yeah, so we had an episode where Niels interviewed the two representatives from the Suits team, which is Hal and Anders. And I think it was a really great episode. It wasn't technical oriented, but more about how umbraco is making money, which is a topic which interests a lot of people, because when we are talking about open source and anything else like that, people are just thinking that it's not profit. It doesn't have profit behind the scenes, but it has. There is a profit in open source, and if you are a developer or anyone else who is involved in open source, there is always a way to make money from it. And this is a great episode, so I won't be revealing anything from it. Feel free to watch it, and Arnold, feel free to watch it to the end. It's very interesting. And yeah, let's maybe talk about some new releases. Did you see this tweet storm from Kevin Jump one day? I'm always surprised how Kevin find time to do all of it.
So active.
I was trying to list all of the links to tweets, but then I decided to let's just show Kevin's profile and his latest activity. But we can just jump for a while to the topic of Chauffeur and using integration, because it was also in the relation to the previously discussed topic with content migrations, because Chauffeur is a command line interface to do some magic with umbraco deployments, and not only. And using is kind of integrated there right now. Which any one of you use it before?
I've played around with it. We had the pleasure of Aaron coming in when he was in London about a year or so ago and demoing Chauffeur, and I did have a play around with it at the time. I haven't used it since, unfortunately, but the model's very clever. Whereas even with umbraco deploy and with usync, a load of events get triggered on app start or something, and then from that it processes a load of files. Well, actually, you could make it part of your deployment pipeline with Chauffeur. It's just a CLI that you run. It connects to your DB. It can perform all the operations like your usync stuff as part of a deploy, and it has migrations for up and down. So if you wanted to roll something back, then it will also do that. I don't know how they handle that with usync, but Chauffeur has that. It's really cool. I need to play with it more. It's Aaron puts a lot of effort into it. I mentioned last week, I think, that there was a new release. So,
and it can install packages as well, right?
Yeah, it's got all kinds. It can do anything with package actions, I believe.
Yeah, that's something what Aaron also replied in this discussion about content migration, that we can install external packages from the Chauffeur, which is very interesting. And so yeah, we can all see what's inside of it, because it's all on GitHub. So huge high five Urag for Kevin for all of those updates. And I'm also tempted to play more with all of those tools and maybe establish a new workflow of delivering things. And also, I don't know if you mentioned it last week. I haven't seen it on the agenda. It was a site attention, and Ismail just shared this package with us one day. It's using external tool to analyze content on the website and helps you to optimize it. So it requires some kind of license. I haven't used the site attention in the past, but it looks really interesting and helpful for anyone who is optimizing content for better performance or better SEO, SEM, etc. It's really, really nice.
Yeah.
And also from .NET World, I've found the listing of a lot of amazing videos from the latest .NET Conf. It's all on Channel 9, and I'm happy to share it with all of you. And I watched a couple of them already. They are really great. And still, I put some of them on my to-do list, waiting list, to be watched whenever I will find more time. So yeah, that's great. And guys, did you see anything interesting from the .NET World? Maybe last couple of weeks or week?
Not really, sorry.
No, I don't think I did. There's a big conference going on in London right now called ProgNet, which is there's a lot of kind of container stuff and serverless stuff going on. Some nice looking workshops as well. Haven't really seen that much though.
Yeah, but probably we're all waiting to the times when we will be able to use all of those amazing .NET Core features and stuff, which is introduced for .NET Core. And one thing which I also had listed is GitHub pull requests integrated into Visual Studio Code, and this is named as a first official result of cooperation between GitHub and Microsoft Teams after the acquisition, and it looks really interesting. I've seen this feature in GitKraken, for example, but it doesn't integrate with code directly. But here we can see it inside of the code, which is really, really interesting and probably helpful for developers using Visual Studio Code on a daily basis. So yeah, that's probably all from our main list of things. And we have some other things to be mentioned. We had a blog post from umbraCo about new support warrior in the theme, and there is a great article about the personality and activity done by yet another amazing person in the umbraCo team. And yeah, nice hat. I will ask you how were you about it. Really, really nice hat. Also, we had some more information about the next Unicorner, and if I'm correct, that's it. So we'll have
sneak peek.
Sneak peek, yeah. It will be a fish tank theme. So yeah, I'm really happy to see all of those insights, and as we can see, hats are on. So we are waiting for more interesting information straight from umbraCo. And at the end, big kudos for Owen for all the community gatherings last week.
He's been super busy this week, in fact.
Yes. Of course, the community corner, and Carl Butler described and answering a couple questions on Owen's blog. Also, Owen introduced a new team member, which is a coding Kiran. I don't know how to pronounce it correctly and what's the correct name of the Owen's colleague. But yeah, welcome in umbraCo family. Hopefully you are watching umbraCoffee and you will be watching Unicorner next week. And also Owen shared a great blog post about learning on the job.
I really enjoyed this because it was very, very honest, and there was a follow-up kind of Twitter conversation about it too, saying it's okay to ask for help. I understand there being a lot of pressure to kind of know stuff, but in this case, it was that he kind of worked his way through a problem. He didn't necessarily know the best way to do something, asked the community for help, and got a lot out of it. And then even on Twitter following up from that, it was like people going, it's never like there's never too big an ask of someone in the community. You can ask for help anytime. People are always around. So yeah, just shows what a friendly place this is, really.
We are. Most of the time we are, yeah.
And Arnold, do you have any algorithm for solving problems? Because I remember that I wrote one in our team that if you cannot solve something in half an hour, ask your teammates, then ask community on Twitter, whatever else, then raise a gold support ticket if you cannot solve it by yourself or with help of community. How you are doing it?
Yeah, somewhat related. Don't try it for yourself for too long, because you get stuck. And really Twitter helps, because sometimes you just ask a simple question, or for you a complex question, and you're looking so hard at the same thing the whole time that you forget some simple solutions. And on Twitter somebody just shouts, oh, did you think about this? And then you have the solution. But yeah, just ask. I think that's the best thing to do. But don't ask too fast, because you have to find things yourself as well, because the journey to find something also helps you to develop yourself a bit further.
Yeah. I was just talking with Imran here actually about a very similar thing before we went on air. Just saying, yeah, it's okay to. It was kind of around pair programming. You often have a driver and a kind of an instructor when you're pair programming, someone that tells someone what to do, and the driver doesn't really learn much because they're just being told by someone that knows to perform a set of actions. Whereas if you sit there and it might take a bit longer, but you discover yourself, then you actually remember and you learn a bit more. So there's pluses and minuses to all of this stuff. It's asking for help is great, but also there is an element of you need to spend a bit of time up front trying, but not too long.
And also there are a lot of people who try to talk you into new stuff. If you have a problem like, oh yeah, but you're using a React, but maybe you should use a Vue because then it would be much easier. So that doesn't really help.
JavaScript frameworks are a topic of another discussion. But yeah, I remember times when I joined the Coggers gang, and when I helped Ismail solve some simple problem, which was simple for me, but someone just forgot about it. And Ismail is a great example, I think, because he is asking questions whenever he can and whenever he is stuck. And all of those are just solved because most of people had those problems earlier, right? And that's really great to ask. And I remember also Owen's blog post about being an MVP and being afraid of asking questions.
Yeah.
And I won't spoil anything, but I'm writing a really interesting article right now about it. So stay tuned, because I will reveal some of those thoughts which I have about this topic as well. Mm-hmm. And maybe as a nice segue and driver to the end of this episode, I will share one more tweet, which I found lately. It's I would call it a life of WordPress developer. Without naming any other CMSs. So it is my chosen plugin. Why isn't it working? The plugin can't guarantee that it works. That depends on the themes. Still, I want to know it fails. So contact me. Give me umbraCo or my own CMS.
Yeah, so, absolutely. Give yourself control.
Yeah. Or there will always be some issues. Smaller, bigger, but still some issues. Yeah, and that's it. I think we covered all of it.
A lot of news this week.
Yep, as always.
Next week's going to be a slightly special week because we've got the Poland Festival. We'll be live from the Poland Fest, and I'm flying out later today. And I just checking the Dutch Festival website. It's 20 days until that as well, so it's going so quickly.
And you will be there as well. Both. You will do both. You will do a presentation together, separate presentations. You do an umbraCoffee live on stage. We have a couch and everything set up for you. And we're talking about .NET stuff. We have a full track about DevOps stuff and cloud-related stuff with people like Jeff Strauss from Pluralsight, Jonathan Mills, and even from Microsoft Switzerland, Laurent Bugnion is a cloud developer advocate. So we have a lot of .NET stuff there as well. So it's just not only umbraCo, but really other stuff in .NET.
That's really awesome. I'm super looking forward to the next few weeks of festivals. It's like, as Marcin said, and the episode is titled, this is really where the festival season kicks off again, because we've got, I think, over the next 6 weeks, I'm at like 5 festivals. It's crazy.
Yeah, that will be crazy, but still, it's worth it. And maybe as a final call, let's invite everyone who is thinking about joining any of those festivals. Just do it. It's a first step to probably a great journey in open source, umbraCo, .NET community, and maybe career, because I know the stories that some people just started their new careers just because of attending one of the festivals and talking with random people. So yeah, see you in Poland, in Holland, in UK, and whatever else.
Yeah.
Cool. Thank you, Arnold, for joining us. Do you want to add anything?
No, for this it's great. It was nice to be here. And
thanks for joining.
See you soon then.
Yep. See you soon.
See you in a few weeks.